Hi everyone, this is GY8627. I posted a visual effect like this. It's like the matte glass kind of effect. Then you can see the model or like a blurry figure moving and also like press on the glass. So this kind of effect is largely used in photography. Some of the reference photos I found interest to create something like mysterious. It's also great that we can do it in TouchDesigner. Alright, so let's walk through the whole workflow. Basically, here we import 3D model. So here I have this hand model. Then we use LFO to give this model like a transform animation here. Then we just do the normal render process. So here is the essential part of this workflow. It's basically to combine Luma blur. It blurs out depends on the depth, like depends on the depth texture in here. So here I got this depth texture. So the logic of this is the closer the model is to the camera, the darker it gets. So here you can see, to make it more straightforward, I'll show you how it is in the 3D space. Geometry viewer. In the 3D space, here is my hand model, and here is my camera, this tiny little camera here. Wow, this hand is gigantic compared to how small this camera is. Yeah, anyways, so if you compare this 3D space with this depth texture, you can see like the toe, like the fingertip, not toe, the fingertip closer to the lens. So that's why they all show like a darker color. It's nearly black, and the further it gets, the lighter it gets. So this texture records a data of the depth of this camera space. So we can use this depth texture to decide which part it will blur out. So the further part we can make it super blurry, and the closer part, the fingertips here, we want to make it as visible as possible, so we can have this looking through the glass kind of effect. Right, so here is our basic logic, and do you have to make some twitching here in the camera? So in here we basically use the near and far. Let's take a reference on this picture. So here, place the object in this area. So here is a far plane. So basically we could control which part we want to get blurred out based on the adjustment of the near plane and the far plane of the camera. So here I'll quickly show you. Now I changed the near plane to 319, and as you can see, all parts get blurred out. And if I change it back to 22, you can see now the near plane is getting closer to the fingertips. So now the fingertips is more visible now. And if I change this to 30, you can see like the whole finger gets cut out. Oof, that's kind of scary. Right, so let's change it back to 23. Yeah, 23 is cool. And the far plane, yeah, if you want to chop off the further parts of the object, you can also adjust the far plane. For example, I can change it to 30. Yeah, now you can see like the palm of the hand is chopped off now. Alright, so no more scary bedtime stories. And after these ones, after the depth and Luma blur, now you can see here are still lots of post-processing process, but they are not as important as these two operators I was talking about for realizing this effect. They are basically just to add like a noise kind of texture to the final visual. And here we also like adjusting the color a little bit. Right, so now let's quickly so now we can quickly do a simplified version with me to realize this similar effect. Okay, so here we have a very empty TouchDesigner network. So the first step we're gonna have is we need a model. So alright, so here I'm gonna look for a model object. Yeah, let's just use this same hand model. So the first step we're gonna check whenever we import a 3D model into TouchDesigner is to check the position and the angle. Firstly, we want this hand to be vertical. Now it's lying flat on the XZ plane, representing the X-axis and the G green. The Y-axis and Z is the blue one is the Z-axis. So here we're gonna adjust this model a little bit. Let's put a transform after this. Right, so now we want it to be vertical, so technically we need it to be rotating. We want the X-axis to rotate 90 degrees. Maybe minus 90. Right, that's perfect, that's perfect. So now we have a standing up hand. We want the center of the object to align with the center of the axis. So I would put this to minus 20. Oh, that's too much. Minus 10, maybe. Alright, that seems not bad. So minus 8, perfect, and a little bit towards left. So minus 1. Okay, that's almost perfect. Okay, I love this. Then we need a geometry. Then we need a camera. Alright, this camera is a little bit too close. Alright, that's perfect, that's perfect. Then we need a render top. Okay, now we need a light, because as you can see, our hand is pretty dark now. Okay, the light. The light is very close to the hand, now we move it further down. Okay, that's perfect. Then we add a now top and make it show on the background. Okay, now we rendered out our 3D hand. Wow, it's so plastic, by the way. Didn't even notice. Right, so let's not geo, let's give it a texture. I'll just use a PBR. The metallic. I think I would appreciate a matte, like a matte texture. So we put the roughness to the maximum and we put the metallic to the minimum. Alright, that's perfect. Okay, so here we need depth top. Here. And we put the render one into this operator. Right. And we adjust the camera. So we change this near, it's basically what we want. Perfect. Okay, then we need a Luma blur. Alright, so we render to the first input and this to the second input. Now when we adjusting here, you can see like partially gets blurred out. Okay, now it's time to add a simple movement for our objects. So normally I like to use LFO. Then I want to change this to Gaussian. Alright, so maybe sine for this time. But as we can see, it's moving a little bit too fast. So I think I would put the frequency into 0.13. So it's relatively slower. Perfect. Then I add now at the end, and I want to use this. I want to use this number to control how the hand move. Right. So let's put it here. X. Right. So as we can see, if we put it in the X axis, the hand is kind of moving from left to right, from right to left. But that's like a little bit too boring though. So also I want to speed this up a little bit, so I want to multiply 3. Okay, now if we want to like add more movement, we can also give it to the y-axis and even z-axis. Nah, that's unnecessary. Okay, so that's perfect. So it's basically moving around the diagonal of the screen. Okay, then we adjust our camera a little bit to fit it onto the center of the screen. Alright, we can also rotate this. Right, and we can even put it a little bit closer. Even though now it's too close that the fingers are partially chopped off, but we can still adjust here, the near plane, to change it. 35. Perfect. So now we can't see the blur effect because I haven't connected this blur to the now yet. Now let's connect here. Okay, then let's add a background color. I want to add let's say a black color. So RGB key. Cool. But instead I want the background to be like white and the hand to be dark, so we could add a level in here and invert it, more or less. Yeah, we can also change the contrast a little bit. Right, if we want to give it like a color, if we want to make it like red as I used to, as the visual I showed you, we can use a lookup combined with ramp. So connect the RAM to the second output. Oh my god, this is actually cool, right? Yeah, wow. Okay, disconnect here. Then connect this one to the first input. That's also cool. No lies. Right, so maybe I should do this instead. What do you think, guys? Yeah, I kind of like it. Right, let's do some experiments. We're all about being experimental, okay? Maybe let's cancel this for now. Right, so if we could change, look at this picture. So here is the black part. We want the black to be non-blurry. We want white to be fully blurry. Okay, now we're talking. Okay, so put the black filter weight to a really low value. And put the white filter weight to the highest value possible. Okay, that's awesome. So now if we observe a little bit into the 3D space, we can adjust the camera to like the camera get closer, you can see like how the effect is changing on the left. You can even change the angle of the camera to fit the visual better. Alright, so in the end, we can try our previous effect. Oh, I kinda like this. This is like so unexpected. That's what I like about generative art in general, because you never know what's gonna happen next. It's full of surprises, like a box of chocolate. Right, so if you're interested in this kind of effect, you can also go on experiment on it. For now, let's just do our normal one. Right, so here I want to give it like another color, let's say red, blue, or whatever. Maybe this time we can try the red. Well, it's always the red. We want like a little bit like this. And background, if you want to do, you can change it to like this. Oof, that's kind of like nightmare vibe. Also like this. Right, so yeah, so here is the general workflow of the final visual. If you want to add like a glass texture or like noise texture, just go ahead and do it. So a quick noise, you can go with random. Then you put the offset to 0. Then you can adjust amplitude to control like how much texture you want. So just go on and explore this visual as much as you can, because I think it has loads of potential, and I'm still kind of exploring what it could be. It's definitely could make a lot of interesting visual effects. I hope it inspires your work in the future. And if you have any questions or problems when you're trying to recreating this effect following the tutorial, just comment down below. Right, so I have already uploaded the file onto my Patreon, and yeah, if you want to download the file, just go to my Patreon link. Don't forget to subscribe and follow. I'll see you for my next tutorial. Also, let me know if you still preferred me to do the tutorial in Chinese or in English. Comment down below and let me know. Bye.